Remember the taste test wars between Coke and Pepsi? People would be blindfolded so that they couldn't read the labels on the cans, and then they would take a drink out of each of the two cans and proclaim which one was their favorite. Next, lo and behold, the blindfolds would come off to the shock of the tester. Oh my God, I didn't know I liked Pepsi better.
It's too bad Pontiac can't reproduce that test with their new G8 GT, because this car would raise more than a few eyebrows if compared in a blind test to some European cars costing twice as much. An Australian import, the G8 is essentially a Holden Commodore that has received a mild facelift, turning it into a Pontiac. Now, I know what you're thinking. This formula has been tried before with the GTO and hasn't exactly worked wonders for GM. But before you throw out the baby with the bathwater, let me tell you why this time GM has gotten it right.
The GTO was priced higher than its most obvious competitors and didn't perform quite well enough to justify its added price. With this car, the exact opposite is true. Priced right around $30,000, the G8 GT represents an absolute performance bargain.
If you don't agree, try this. Name any other mid-size four-door sedan that is rear drive, has nearly perfect 50-50 front to rear weight distribution, a multi-linked independent rear suspension, and is powered by a V8 with at least 360 horsepower. If you said anything other than a BMW, or maybe a Mercedes-Benz, you may want to go back and check your specs. That's pretty nice company. And let's not forget, those cars cost $60,000 plus, twice as much as a G8 GT. There are a couple of other cars that fit the bill, of course, and those are the SRT8 versions of the Chrysler LX cars, the 300C SRT8, the Charger SRT8, and the now discontinued Magnum SRT8. All base priced around $10,000 over the G8 GT. By the way, out of those cars we've mentioned, how many do you think offer a true limited slip differential? Only the Pontiac G8 GT. To get a true limited slip diff in a BMW, you'd have to step up to the M5 at $90,000.
Of course, what that limited slip allows you to do is this. I don't care who you are, that right there never gets old.
Also contributing to the G8 GT's ability to do big slides relatively easily is the standard FE2 suspension, anti-roll bars front and rear, standard on all G8s. It's surprisingly firm out here on our track, and yet very compliant on the road, very much like those German sedans.
Lastly, we can't sum up the G8's performance story without mentioning that stonkin' V8 under the hood. At 6 liters, it doesn't suffer size envy to many cars out there, making 361 horsepower and 385 pound-feet of torque. It hauls the G8's 4,000 pounds with authority, and it makes a great American V8 noise all the way. Listen to that. Let's just not mention it's actually assembled in Mexico.
Overall, the performance story for the G8 GT is a good one. It's got a lot of go, it corners well, and the brakes do a decent job of hauling it down. And with this global rear drive platform also underpinning the upcoming Camaro, the future looks bright for GM performance fans. I'm Emile Bure, OnCars.